Hello, I'm Costa Haritos. How much time are you spending on social media? Well, Australians are among those spending more time on Facebook and Instagram combined than on any other platform. They may have the most users, but they also attract big money too, with advertisers using these platforms to sell their products. But a new report from Australia's consumer watchdog is taking a closer look at the influencer marketing industry. It's raising fresh concerns about the inadequate disclosure of sponsored posts by influencers and brands. And for more, let's bring in Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Dr. Karen, lovely to see you. These platforms have been in the spotlight for quite a while now. What do we need to see to have real change happen?
Well, it's a good question. I think governments are constantly trying to regain power back, or some sense of power from these platforms, but it really feels like the horse has bolted and that they've grown so fast before legislation can even catch up. So yeah, it's really hard. It's such a complex issue, and one that I don't really think can be answered really simply.
Are we seeing, is part of the problem that we're seeing the technology or these big tech platforms move too fast when it comes to developing new tech or rolling out those updates?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the law and legislation and policy just can't keep up with those changes and this evolution. I mean, even now with AI being a huge topic of conversation, I haven't seen any sort of measures yet put in place to try and combat and navigate that by government either.
So a lot of smaller businesses use these platforms like Facebook, like Instagram to sell their products. Are they being unfairly targeted here by the crackdown and regulation?
Look, it's a good question, but I think now it's become almost essential for small businesses to have some sort of social media presence. And the two go-tos are Instagram and Facebook, because they do have the largest user base, particularly in Australia. And if you look at global studies, it's even around the world, of users who they're trying to target with their business. And I think with the years of the pandemic, it even made that more important. So yeah, I think it will ultimately affect small business owners if the government does try to put their foot down.
So the ACCC looked at more than 100 influencers after receiving 150 tip-offs from consumers. What are the types of concerns that we're seeing here?
Well, false claims, influencers doing shout-outs and collaborations with brands without actually saying that and disclosing that they're being paid for those. Even things like giving really dodgy advice around health matters and health and diet and fitness matters when they don't even have the qualifications or credentials to do so. And I'm not sure if you saw last year that the TGA actually did put their foot down around this, imposing some regulations around what influencers can and can't do in that respect.
Yeah, so we've also seen the use of deep fakes come to fruition a lot more, where celebrities are being used through the use of AI. Is that a concern, or is that outlined in this ACCC report?
Look, it is a concern, and I don't think we're moving fast enough to catch up with that. And I mean, I've even heard of accounts where, not so much on social media, but voices are being used to, voice recordings are being used to mimic people and over the phone. And so even though that's not social media, it is like the technology is moving rapidly, and we're not really looking at the security measures around that and the impacts it can have. So yes, I think more needs to be done. I think we're starting to look at it, but we're not looking at it closely enough.
So Meta has quite a monopoly on the market. So is that lack of competition leading to poor terms and conditions being accepted by consumers here?
Yeah, I honestly think, I mean, Meta sort of has people hostage if you think about it, because they were really not the first social media platform, but the first one that people used on a mainstream sort of level. And so now they've got a longer history than the others in terms of usage. So they've got our photos, they've got so much information about us, and it's where most of our sort of family and friends are. So it's really hard for someone who would just decide to opt out from that. So I think they will continue to have that monopoly unless something grows faster and becomes more popular. Even with platforms like TikTok, that is growing rapidly in popularity, particularly in Australia, but it's still nowhere near Meta's sort of hold on the actual usage rate in this country.
Fascinating discussion. Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks so much.
And I'm Costa Haritos. More Ticker News coming up right after this.
You're watching Ticker News. More news is just minutes away.